Now, can anyone do this? Is this like certain people are just gifted to do this, or is this something that anybody can do?
No, and I hate that word gifted, and I hate that word special, and I hate that word chosen, and I think that that creates the misnomer as far as psychic ability is concerned, mediumship. We all have the ability to connect. We are all spiritual beings. Psychic ability is not a thing. It's awareness. That's all it is. What are you aware of? What are you allowing yourself to be aware of? How far into that awareness are you allowing yourself to step into? What's the processes going on in your mind that stops that awareness from taking place? What fears do you have? So for me, it's all about awareness. That's it. You know, we call it psychic, but it's a level of awareness. And the more you allow yourself to go into that space, to step into that space, just you deepen, because remember, channeling is just a depth of connection. It's a depth of awareness. Now, what you're going to connect with, I think every channeler is probably different. Is it going to be knowledge? It might be health, right? It might be, I was talking about athletes. Prime example is musicians have said, I don't know how I created that piece. I was detached. Something came through me. It felt like it was greater than me. They're channeling music. Artists are channeling visuals. And you will go back and look at some of the greats and they will say, hey, it didn't come from me. I was the conduit. Even scientists have done the same thing, not just in the form of precognitive dreams, but it's like, I don't know why. It was like I was in the zone and this came through and that's what I needed to do. And it led to this revelation. So it's not a spiritual thing. It's an anybody thing. And it applies in whatever it is that you're passionate about. So does that
yeah. Yeah, and that's amazing. And just looking at my life and my evolution through this whole process too, it's like, all of a sudden I'll get an idea and then I'll go write it down and I'm thinking this is just me, right? And it wasn't until I really started on this journey that I'm on now that I started understanding that all those times when I had these amazing ideas, mm-hmm. It was me, but it was probably, to me, it's a higher aspect of me.
Absolutely right.
Getting this information to me to help me on my journey here. But it took me a long time to understand that even though that's me, it's just a higher aspect of me giving this information. I have created so many things in my life mm-hmm. from just this thought that comes into my mind, which is channeling. Really?
Exactly. That's it. And we take it as a blip. So we call it psychic, right? Oh, I had a psychic hit. I had a moment, right? It doesn't matter how it comes in. That's just the process that we describe it. But you had a moment, you had an awareness. And so we look at psychic ability as hit, 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 hit. Well, what channeling is one big long hit.
Yeah.
And so what happens in psychic ability or in mediumship, especially too, this is a big thing you kind of have to train yourself from, is detaching, right? You have to detach. You have to allow the information to come through. So the better we get at detaching, the more we move into that space of channeling. It is a depth of connection that is taking place. And when you can stop going, oh, I had a hit. I wonder where that came from. Was it me? What about this? What about that? Oh, I wondered if that evidence that I just gave that person was right. This is called the monkey mind that stopped the flow. And then you go, okay, wait a minute, let me go back and flow. So then you get another hit. Then the monkey brain goes, right? So when you start taking these monkey brain steps out, now you have a solid evolution. Now you have a reading. Now you have a mediumship connection. Now you have a flow, which is called channeling. And the deeper you detach and move into that space, the deeper you move into channeling. I mean, when you're doing your energy work, surely you're doing a level of channeling as well. You're detaching yourself, correct?
Yes, absolutely. I channel when I'm in sessions because I'm getting information. In fact, one time when I was doing sessions, they told me, they said, if you think Shay is the one conducting this session, then you need to think again because we are feeding you this information. We're feeding you the questions. We're giving you the information. Mm-hmm. So they're always guiding me, channeling. So I'm channeling them to take a session in one direction or ask a particular question. And I also wanted to share another moment. This is several years ago, probably when I really started my journey. I would wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and my mind would just be full of all this information. So
Mm-hmm.
I would have to get up and start writing it down. And I would
Yes.
write for
Yeah.
like 2 hours. Then I would go back to bed. And then the next night they did the same thing. And they did this for about a week. And I come up with all of these amazing
Yes.
ideas
Yes.
of things to do, right?
Yes.
Finally, I just said, hey, you guys got to stop. Because I was getting so exhausted. But at the same time, I was so energized.
Now,
And
did you feel like it was coming from someone or from some place or from your higher self? I mean, were you able to discern those?
at the time, I had no idea about any of this.
That's
So
okay. Yeah,
I didn't know where it was coming from. I just
Right.
felt like I'm getting this information.
absolutely.
And these thoughts are coming in. And that's what
Absolutely.
I thought. They were just thoughts. And I thought, I'm just on a roll. And the thoughts just keep coming in, you know? But at the time, I had no idea about
It's a
channeling.
week-long roll.
Yeah. So, but it was incredible because now I can look back at it
Right.
and know what it was
Yes.
and say, hey, you know, I am a channel. Plus, you know, they've told me many times in many sessions that I am a channeler and I am, you know, I have the ability to do what you do. I choose to use it in a different way, you know,
Right.
but we're all channelers. We're all
Yes.
channelers and we all get information. And it's just how we choose to use the information that we do receive.
Absolutely. And that's why I think that was important, and that you bring up a good point is, you know, it's going to be unique to the individual, right? Because we're here for different purposes. We have different form, different function, different skill sets. So people tend to think, oh, I'm going to channel, I'm going to talk to a spirit, or I'm going to channel and I'm going to get this information. And it's like, you might, but it could be music, it could be art, it could be science, it could be health, it could be nutrition, it could be athletics and performance. You may have this channeled moment where your body takes over and you all of a sudden have super performance. There's actually a book called In the Zone. It's really wonderful. It's about enhanced performance and athletes and their spiritual experiences. And then they come back and they have this experience and they've learned something, and then they manifest that in the world. So they become better athletes, they become better, but they're bringing that into the world. So these channeled moments, whatever they are, they're going to be unique to you. So don't put yourself in this box and say, I can't channel spiritual information. Maybe not. Maybe you need to channel animals or nature or whatever. It's going to be specific to you. And so you have to find that space.